Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a video very different for me. I obviously have never filmed anything like this, but I wanted to tell you guys a story, but I wanted to talk about mental health. Mental health is something that is, I think, super important, and I never thought that I would be really affected by it until it happened to me. There are just so many millions of people that are affected by mental health. Like, it is such a big concern, and I just wanted to put my story out into the universe to show people that you're not alone, to talk about it, to get it off my chest so that I can move on from it, and just to help other people to know that, one, you're not alone, and two, a lot of people go through these things. I do want to talk to you guys about the realness and the rawness of mental health and how it affected me. So let's get on to this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you want, you can subscribe down below. Thank you guys for 200 subscribers, and I'm very excited for the next videos to come. But I wanted to make this video. If the lighting keeps cutting out or going weird in this video, it's because I'm sitting in front of a window and it keeps getting lighter and darker, so I'm just gonna have to work with it. I'm just going to talk to you guys about my mental health struggles and what I went through and how I got through it. I went through a period of time where I actually developed an eating disorder. It really affected me in many different ways. If you are going through something like this, an eating disorder or something similar in any way, I would suggest that maybe you don't watch this video, only because I don't want you to get triggered or be sensitive to anything I'm saying, because this is just personally what I went through. So my eating disorder actually started about 3 years ago. It was when I first went into grade 9. I was very fortunate that it was quick and that I wasn't struggling for too long. I had some body issues, like body dysmorphia, I think is what it's called, and I just didn't see myself the way that I do now, and I've gained a lot of confidence since then. I go to a uniform school, and in grade 9, I actually was trying on pants, and I had to try on my sister's pants because at the time we were just like, why not just borrow hers if she doesn't need them? They didn't fit me properly. Like, they did and they didn't. Like, I could get them on and button them up and stuff, but they were a bit tight, and I always felt very self-conscious about that because I'm like, why do I need to go up a size? Like, if she wears them, so can I, and things like that. So I tried to fit into them, and I was like, oh, it's fine, I'm gonna work out, maybe like be able to fit into them. Doing so, I actually went a little bit too overboard, and I thought that eating less, I would lose the weight more, like faster, because I wanted it gone like in a day. Like, I wanted it gone as fast as possible because I wasn't very confident in my body. So at the time I was just like, hey, let's do this, let's get this done and over with. So, and also at the time my sister was just moving back. She lived in Windsor, and she was moving back with her 2 kids, and that was very stressful for me because she was moving back to my mom's house where I live now, and she moved into my room in the basement, and I got not kicked out, I don't want to use that word, because I was happy that she was there because it was fun to like have her kids around all the time, but at the same time I didn't, like, I had another room to go, but my sister who lives in that room didn't feel as though she wanted me in that room. I just felt very unwanted to be in that room, so I was under a lot of stress and like doubting like self-worth and stuff because it felt like she didn't want me in there. So I just felt like, what am I, like, I don't know, I needed something to control in my life. There was so many issues, body issues, my sister moving in, that was stressful, in our house as a whole, and I just needed something to control in my life. I also was just in grade 9, so I just started getting into like exams and tests and like marks that actually mattered, whereas in grade 8 they matter, but like it doesn't count towards your college or anything. So I felt that now it was like, hey, I've got to crack down on studying and stuff. I was under a lot of stress, but the one thing I can control was my food. So I stopped eating snacks throughout the day because we used to always have snacks like after school, sometimes in the morning if it was like the weekend, and I just stopped doing that. Like I stopped eating any snacks, which I found that wasn't really doing anything, and I was like, okay, like it just kept going where I would start cutting out like, not meals, but I would like eat like fruit bowls for lunch, and that just wasn't really satisfying my body. I wasn't giving it the energy it needs, whereas now I see food as energy and nutrients that is fueling my body, whereas before it was just like, it's food, like I don't need it. But now I'm like, give me all the snacks. And it happened pretty rapidly. Like my eating disorder started in like November, I believe, or maybe the September of that year, but it really got bad in the November of that year when my sister had moved in. And then it only, like my mom caught on by like February of like the next year. November to February was like my worst time where I was. For me personally, I was developed with anorexia. I wasn't like throwing up or anything. I wasn't like doing anything to harm myself, other than the only symptom I had was not eating and body dysmorphia. So I developed that. I stopped eating snacks. It really hit me because I was always tired all the time. I had no energy. I was always irritated. And one thing that I did do was I studied a lot every day. Like I'd be studying for like hours on end. I was always studying because it's another thing that I could control in my life, whereas some things I couldn't. So I just would study a lot so that I could control my marks and my food. Those were the two things that I felt I could control my life, so that's what I was gonna do. My sister who moved in with us would catch on, and I would try to play it off like it was nothing. People around the house kind of caught on to what was going on, but I always denied it, and I played it off like, yeah, I'm like just in grade 9, and like my parents would sometimes, like my dad would play it off as like, oh, she's in grade 9, like it's just what happens, like what girls do. But it's not normal at all. And I'm glad that my sister was there to realize that, because it could have gotten a lot worse. Earlier that year, we started going to counseling, and I got a really good counselor through my hospital, and she was really nice. In the beginning, I would not talk. I would just listen to what she had to say and what my parents said. I was very uncomfortable talking about what was going on. Just didn't want to admit to someone that something was going on, because at the time I was like, you know what, I'm fine. Like I was very in denial about it, so that didn't help. Nothing was really going well. Things weren't, I wouldn't say they were getting worse, but they weren't really improving the way that we thought they were going to. I would go to counseling, but then the nights would be terrible. My illness would like throw fits at the dinner table because I didn't want to eat, and it was just really bad. And I felt like someone was controlling me. Like even my mom, which I'm very fortunate, she separates my illness from me, because if you know someone struggling with this, it is not them doing this to them. It's the illness doing this to them, and they can't control it. It feels like someone's like trapped in your body, making you do all these things, and it is very hard to get it out and just stop the thoughts. I would like skip meals. I would tell my mom I ate when I haven't. Just bad things. I was always in feuds with my parents, in fights with my siblings. I was always mad. I was always grumpy because I didn't have fuel in my body. I was getting to a pretty low weight, and at the time I didn't see it because of my body dysmorphia. I did not see that I had lost as much weight as I did. In the beginning I was like, oh, like I just want to get skinny or whatever, but then every time I lost pounds I was like, oh, just a little bit more to like, you know, tone up this, which you can't tone up anything if you're not eating. So that didn't really work out. So then I was like working out of my bedroom in secret because I didn't want my parents to know that I was doing that, and they did catch me a few times, and I would try to lie and play it off like nothing happened. You get all these thoughts into your head that aren't true and that are just so wrong and that you shouldn't be having, especially as a girl going into grade 9. It was already hard enough for me to fit in because I was going to a new school and I didn't really know many people, so it was really hard for me to make friends. I've always been like that. I've never been the type of person to make a huge amount of friends. There was many times where I would end up crying at school and things like that, and it just wasn't a good high school experience. The June of that year, the year that we started going to counseling, my parents knew that nothing was working. It wasn't getting better, so they actually, I was admitted to the hospital. I was supposed to go to the one in London that is meant to like treat eating disorders, and I was so scared. In London, my parents can't be there, and while I was dealing with my eating disorder, once I hit the hospital, they did like a questionnaire to like make sure I wasn't harming myself or anything. But I did find out that I luckily didn't have any other mental illnesses. The only thing that I know of that I did develop was separation anxiety. I have separation anxiety from my mom because I'm very close to her. She is like my best friend. And being in that hospital scared me a lot because I couldn't be with her all the time. Even though like my eating disorder was mad at her because she would obviously make me eat, which is what she was supposed to do. That's what her job was. But I was just like very scared because I didn't want to be away from her and in a new environment that I didn't know. So I was admitted to the hospital on a Monday. I was pulled out of school. That scared me so much. When the hall monitor came to get me from a class, I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm never called down to the office. I'm a good kid, like pretty innocent. I haven't done anything. So I was like scared in my mind, and then I had to go in the principal's office where my mom was and tell them that like they're pulling me out of school, like I'm going to the hospital, and I was petrified. I did not want to go, and they took my blood many times, and if you know me, I faint at like any needle. Luckily I didn't faint, but like I don't really remember much of it. But I faint, especially at getting my blood drawn, because when they like diagnosed me with an eating disorder, I had to get it done, and I fainted twice. So that, I was really scared, but I was more scared about the fact that I would have to go to London, and this was just kind of my holding spot for the moment. So I was admitted to like the mental ward, but luckily for me, there was a girl who, not lucky for her because I'm sad that people have mental disorders, but some other girl came in who needed the bed more than me, and they only had like a set number of beds. So I got to move, since I was like, the only thing was I wasn't eating, like I wasn't harming myself or anything. I was able to be moved to the maternity ward, which is like the baby floor, which was so much better for me because one, I could have more visitors. My mom could come, not at any hours, but many more extended hours, because down in the mental ward, they have like a set schedule. Like you have to be up at this time, you can only have visitors at this time, you do this at this time, make your bed at this time. Like they had a set schedule, whereas the maternity ward, they didn't. And down in the mental health ward, they had like restrictions, so I couldn't have my phone. Literally, I couldn't have any electronics or anything. I couldn't have a movie. Like, I couldn't have literally anything. But once I was moved to the maternity ward, I could have my phone, I had a TV, I had an iPad. Like, I was very fortunate to be moved to that floor because I think it really did help in my recovery, knowing that I was in a more comfortable place. But then again, I still knew that I was supposed to be moved to London to go to the mental health, like, eating disorder treatment center down there. I'm Catholic, so I grew up in my faith. Prayed a lot during this time. I prayed for guidance and for just really to help me through this rough patch in my life. Before, I wasn't really doing that. Like, I kind of strayed away from my faith, which really hurt my relationship with God. But now it's so much better because when I was there, I like trusted him so much. Like, it's like something clicked in my head, and like something just in my mindset changed. Like, suddenly just the thoughts I had and everything just kind of went away, and it was like really like relieving. Like, it felt like something had been weighed off my shoulders, and I believe that God really helped me with that, and he took all my pain and struggles away, because I really, when I was in the hospital, prayed to him a lot for guidance and for strength and just to be able to get through this, because I knew I didn't want to go to London. And I think that's kind of what helped me as well. I think that without going to the hospital, I wouldn't be as strong as I am, because it kind of scared in a way it kind of scared my illness out of me, which is like super good. So I was getting better really quickly. So I was admitted on that Monday, and then the Friday there was a bed that had opened up, and we were basically just waiting on a bed in London for me to go stay there. So a bed opened up, and it was the Friday. I had been doing really good. Even my counselor and my mom said I was doing really good, but we decided that it was okay for me to go home. I didn't need to be in the hospital anymore. Luckily, I did not have to go to London, which I was super relieved about, because again, I was so scared about that, and I didn't have to go, which was really amazing. So I came home and we started doing counseling for a few weeks, which was going a lot better. I talked a lot more. I was more open to what was being said, because I knew I wanted to get better. Before, I didn't want to get better. Before I went to the hospital, I didn't want to admit that something was going on. I didn't want to admit there was a problem, because at the time I didn't see there was a problem. I just thought like, oh, like I'm just getting healthy, like people can just leave me alone. But after the hospital, I kind of saw what was going on and how this wasn't what it's supposed to be, like how this is not what life is about. So I was able to open up a lot more about my eating disorder to my guidance counselor. So quickly we were able to do like every few week appointments, and I was able to actually stop counseling very quickly. And I think that like I'm always gonna have my eating disorder. I think it's always gonna be a part of me, but now I just know what my triggers are and I know how to control it a lot more. I have such a better relationship with food, and I eat food to fuel my body, I don't restrict, but I more eat food for energy, because again, when I was going through this rough time, I had no energy. I had a lot of family that was very supportive. Of course, my mom and my dad were very supportive, and my siblings were supportive, and just everyone around me was supportive, and they visited me in the hospital. And even too, when I was in the hospital, they had like activities for you to go do, and it would like get your mind off of everything that was going on. So the people who ran the activities, we got to do painting a lot, which I actually loved. It was like rec therapy, and I honestly loved it. I think it helped me a lot, and we got to just be with other girls who are dealing with different things. But it wasn't the fact that we were all dealing with something, because they made it sound like we didn't have anything. Like they would talk about school, and like one of the girls was in grade 12, so they would talk about prom and things like that. So they made it bearable, because it wasn't like, yes, we were there for our illnesses, but we weren't like always having to talk about it and having to deal with it. So I think that's what helped us. Well, it's what helped me push through my struggles. So it was a very rough patch in my life. I did get control over it, and I have a lot of control now. Again, it's been 3 years, so I think I'm always gonna have it, because once you have it, it sticks with you, but you just know how to control it. You just know, like, I don't have those thoughts anymore, and I'm so fortunate that I recovered so quickly. I never thought 3 years ago, if you would have told me that I would be more confident and have a better relationship with food and be able to go to the gym, I would have thought you were crazy. Every body is different. You don't have to have this specific body type. You were made perfect, and I'm glad that I could grow in my relationship with God, and just that I know that He's there helping me through anything I need. But I did want to put out this video because I feel like it's just something that's a part of me, and I wanted to share that because this is a personal channel, this is my channel, and I wanted to just get it out there to help anyone and to say that you're not alone. And yeah, I feel like that's everything that I need to put out about my struggles, because I just want to normalize mental health. Everyone talks about mental health, but I wanted to show people that it can literally happen to anyone. I would have never thought when I was in elementary school that this would happen to me, and when it did, it all just happened so fast and I didn't know what to do. If you are dealing with something, I'm going to link some hotlines in the description box below. Please check them out. Again, it is normal to have these struggles and to go through these struggles, but the main thing is that you get help, because if I didn't get help, I don't know where I would be today. Talk to someone about it, and just know that you're not alone, because there are many people who deal with this, and if only one person dealt with this, they wouldn't have hundreds of hotlines out there for people to go to. So the fact that they have so many hotlines out there for people to go to means that you are not the only one, and talking to someone about it is not going to make things worse. It's actually going to make things better. I was so scared when I first started counseling because I didn't want to talk to someone, and I know it can be like awkward to talk to someone about what you're going through, but if you do it, you will feel so much better.
Okay guys, I just wanted to add that I just finished editing this video, but this was my mental health struggles, and I wanted to talk about this on my channel because I want to normalize it and hopefully make it so that people don't feel alone anymore. I want to use this platform for good and to talk about important things that I think need to be talked about and that I think it'd be a good thing if they were talked about. So I just wanted to add this video to my channel in order to normalize mental health, and I'm probably going to be doing many more videos on mental health from now on because I think it's an important topic. But if you are struggling with anything, definitely get help. Obviously you can't see it in the moment, but once you get help, you will feel so free and so amazing, and it will be the best thing for you. So definitely, if you're struggling with anything, please get help. Check out the hotlines in my description.
Okay guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I did feel very awkward filming this video because obviously I've never filmed something like this before, and I've never really talked about my struggles in this way. I don't really talk about it ever, but I felt so like compelled to make this video. I don't know why, but I just had this like gut feeling that I need to do this. If you are struggling with anything, please check out the links in the description for any of the hotlines I've put down there. Talk to someone about your mental health. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe down below. I hope I helped someone out with this video, and just please make sure to take your health and really put yourself a priority, because you need to be healthy and happy, and that is really what should be your goal. So I hope everyone is having a great day. If you want to check out some of my other videos, they're not as deep as this one, they're more bubbly and happy, but I really just wanted to talk about this one because it was just a very important topic to me. So I love you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.